Okay. So, hello everyone for another event,
Oh,
another
Prachi, thank you for.
Thursday, another Vibe Thursday. Yeah, we have Brad here. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining live today. Hello everyone that is who are watching this video later. I just wanted to welcome all of you for this event, for the cities. Just remind that we are building all of that to support you, Vibe coders, in this journey in the context of this fund, grants fund with Artisan. We are building a grant, a fund that is growing up to $20,000. Let's see how far we can make this fund grow here with sponsorship to fund you. Yes, you who are submitting your projects, your vibe coded projects here. We have a great list of submissions. There's still time to submit and vote for your project. We are working hard to get those sponsors in. People buying creator packages, those workshop sponsor packages, Vibathon sponsor packages. All of these donations, they are matched by Artisan one by one until $10,000 for us to reach the goal of $20,000, and pushing for making this happen, for funding you in the project that you want to build. You saw a problem in the world, you saw a pain and you want to solve. Maybe you don't know how to code, maybe you don't have the means. I'm there to support you with this fund. For that, we are building this calendar of events, bringing great people like RJ and many others to be announced here in the future. So I do suggest that you join your community, apply as a builder, supporter, or if you can as a sponsor. Attend all of these calls, watch the recordings so that we can maximize our support and have you closer to build something meaningful with vibe coding. Even if you're not technical, even if you don't have all of the tools, all of the support, you can make it. I believe in you, and we are all here together for that, right? Isn't it true, RJ? Now I would like to invite RJ, your guest speaker for today, founder of Auraflow, to jump in and empower, support, and guide all of you with his trick and tips and his amazing platform called Auraflow for vibe coding too. Come in, my brother.
All right. Well, thank you for the introduction, Matheus. Appreciate you having me on your series, Vibe Tuesdays and Vibe Thursdays. And cool. We're seeing a lot more people join. This is first off, I want to thank everybody for coming. I know some people are coming in at 11 p.m. at night. Matheus is telling me, Sergo is telling me he used to come in at 1 a.m. at night. So, to be able to get that support around the world, appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time out today. Well, a little bit about me. My name is RJ Moscardon. I'm come from San Francisco, and on the day-to-day, I help nonprofits as the Emerging Tech Coalition. I help nonprofits get access to emerging tech and other community, the community at large, chambers of commerce, other diverse business organizations. And, I truly believe that San Francisco cannot be a tech city without getting the tech in the hands of the community. So that's my mission there with the Emerging Tech Coalition. And now I dabble in helping others get their projects out. I'm working in health tech. I have a couple other apps that I want to share with you later on. I'm helping a couple other nonprofits. One, helping them with their CRM data and being able to talk to their data with just natural language. And I have another one that I will be sharing with you. I help Mission Hiring Hall. They're one of the biggest nonprofits here in San Francisco at helping people get jobs and jobs in construction as construction professionals in administration and management, as well as construction on the ground, being able to build. They have a program called City Build where they help people get hired working with the contractors who will hire local San Franciscans to work on the projects in the city. So they're from the city, building for the city. So yes, thank you, Sergo. Yeah, talking to CRMs, that's what we do. We want to be able to talk to our own data. And I'm allowing nonprofits to be able to have that technology. I go to a lot of events here in San Francisco. A lot of these events are developer focused, and now we have this age of vibe coders where anybody can build. And, I think that's such a beautiful thing, right? And what I'm building here with Auraflow is to be able to connect those who are just learning to build with experts who can help them get their projects unstuck and moving along and get their ideas to execution. You can go ahead and, with these tools nowadays, with AI tools, you can go ahead and build 100 times faster. Something where you used to have to take maybe 4 years of school, 8 years of school, you're getting something done to prototype. That's amazing. You can actually push these apps out and have others use them, and you can get feedback and validation right away, which is what I'm doing here with you guys. I would love to get your feedback and your validation on Auraflow. But the whole point of that is, we find ourselves with these amazing tools to be able to build wonderful products. But we also, on the flip side of that, need to understand that we are not yet experts, right? We are all learning together. And there are some people who are already out there who can help us build it. So my goal, just like Matheus, is to build this community, is create a community of vibe coders and devs and expert vibe coders that can help each other out, get their projects unstuck, get their products to production, and your ideas being able to help everyone else around the world. So that's my mission there with Auraflow. Now, let's see where I'm at with my agenda. So that's a little bit about me. I would definitely want to hear what everyone else is building after I go through my spiel. But I would love to talk now more about the vibe coding journey that I've gone through, how I got into AI, and where I'm going to go with it, right? Where can we go with this? And so started this off at just on the weekends, doing when I figured out that AI can be used for multiple things, not just for search, right? Not just for finding facts online or using it as an encyclopedia, but being able to build products, being able to even build yourself, giving yourself, if with the proper prompt, you can go ahead and set your schedule. You can help you with your discipline. It can help you with your focus. There's so many applications that you can use AI with, right? And once I've discovered that this gives us the ability to have no limits, and how far can we push those limits, right? So understanding that, okay, I want to be able to build not just myself, but also build products that I wasn't able to before. And how I like to look at it is, learning in reverse. We're reverse engineering computer engineering in a way. So being able to see the product, build the product, and then say, wow, this is what AI built. How did it build it? How did it get to that point? So I got this big curiosity of, how is it that this is creating this thing? What is Python? What is JavaScript? How do I get to this if I were to do this on my own, right? So it got me really interested in wanting to really dive back into code. It's something that I was doing back in the beginning of the pandemic, around 2020, 2021, and then 2023 again, when 2022 actually is when I got into AI, wanting to learn how to build, because AI is helping build these tools, right? So that's what really got me on these weekends. We used to host workshops, and we wanted to host these workshops so we can show people this is some crazy things that you can do with AI. This is the extent of not the extent, but these are the possibilities that can happen with AI. So we had rooms full of anywhere from people that just are still in school, to the elderly, to people who are just learning, to Apple and Google developers coming to these workshops. And we were all learning together as, Chat GPT, 3.3 just came out, and seeing like, oh, okay, we can use this for data analysis. We can actually paste in like stocks over the last 5 years and then have that analyzed by AI, or being able to even get simple recipes, taking books and putting them into recipe books, not just recipe books, but food science books, and putting them into the LLM, and being able to come up with recipes where you're mixing fusion recipes together. So anything from like cooking to being able to do data analysis, we were showing how to do that in these workshops. And then it came to, let's build some apps. So we started doing an app, our app workshops, using tools like Replit, using tools like Cursor, using tools like, I don't think V0 was there yet, or Lovable, but these tools were available to us now. There were VS Code plugins that we were able to use, where we can connect and put in the code, or just taking straight ChatGPT or Google and using ChatGPT to come up with the code, and then copy and pasting that code into your VS Code, into your or Cursor. That's how it started back in like 2022, 2023. Now we have these full-on platforms that can help us get to that, and we wouldn't have to copy paste all that. And actually, Cursor's a lot better in that, it has documentation ingestion. You can simply just go to a website, add the website, and you can start connecting all these different tools together to make them talk. A good example is using Twilio. So then you can talk to people and use AI for text messaging, right? So you can take the documentation from Twilio, put that in your copy paste, or put that in your Cursor program, and then start using ChatGPT to talk to people through text message. So these are some of the projects that we first started building. From there, we opened up an agency to help businesses learn and understand like what it means to be AI ready. So we were training staff, we were training the executive teams how to use the tools. We were building tools for them that help with their workflow. So they would tell us problems where they wanted to see efficiency, they wanted to see revenue, and then they let us know what their pain points were, and we address this through either building custom tools or consultation, where they can find the right tools to help them with their projects, or help them with their workflows, or help them with their business. And what we found going through this process, that company was called AI Amigos, by the way. Matheus really likes that name. There were three of us AI Amigos. Yeah, we were your friendly neighborhood AI guys. So, being able to help small business was a key for us. And from there, we found that nonprofits reached out to us the most, and that's when I realized, hey, the community at large, they don't have this access to these tools in the same way that these developers do, these people in school do. This is where we wanted to be able to fill that gap and show people that, or show the nonprofits that these are the tools being used in your own city. So, believe it. Can you believe it that they don't even have any tech programs yet that are catered towards AI? All right, so that's where I got my foot in the door in San Francisco here, providing tech, AI, emerging tech, and providing those services to the nonprofits here, and teaching them how to use these tools to upskill not only them but their community members, and understanding that these skills are skills that they're going to have to understand that this is just the change of the times. There was a time where none of us had cell phones, but we all use cell phones. We're all scrolling all day, every day. We're on social media. We're texting our friends. We're texting our family. We're watching video. We're going online, right? We're playing games on this tool. But there was a time when we did none of that, and everything was manual calls. Text messages through beepers, through pagers. And this is just the next jump. So now that we have AI is just going to be part of our daily lives, whether we like it or not. And so being able to show that this is going to be helpful, not just for, your education, not just for your careers, but this is just going to be implemented in your daily lives. So we came up with programs to be able to help these nonprofits gather those skills. That's when, I met Matheus. He's running boot camps out of, was it Digital Garage, teaching pretty much, anyone how to use these tools. Anybody can take this boot camp and learn about agents, or learn about vibe coding, or learn about how to build apps, right? So we shared a very similar mission there. And, here at the Emerging Tech Coalition, we want to be able to share those same skills, that same mindset of continued learning, wanting to learn about AI, and wanting to learn about how this can benefit me, and not think about how this can replace me or my job, or my abilities. I look at AI as something that's a tool that can be used to empower all of us, right? So how does that work? Well, the first thing to do is to be curious about it, and make sure that we're learning about these tools. And that's just the first step. You're doing way more than 90% of the people out there if you're just curious about learning how to use and apply these tools. So with that said, oh yeah, Prachi was there at TG.
We even had pineapple pizza that day.
So pineapple pizza is one of my favorites, just to piss off Matheus. He's a culinary guy. He's the chief barbecue officer. So I like telling him about the pineapple.
Island heritage, you gotta respect that, right? Just kidding. Go on with your serious talk, my friend. Sorry about that.
So we wanted to be able to serve the community, and it hasn't been done yet. So me and Matheus actually combined to be able to provide like one of the first boot camps that's community focused, inviting different community members from different nonprofits throughout San Francisco, from for example, Code Tenderloin, Jewish Vocation Services, Mission Bit, which serves the youth, Dev Mission, and even Goodwill and Mission Hiring Hall, like even serving construction. We find that even construction professionals, you'll find that AI is being used in that space as well. And so that's been my journey up until now, and building these tools. I've been able to help with vibe coding, actually be able to build a tool that helps both developing and as a vibe coder, just being able to develop this tool really fast within less than 3 days actually, of a job readiness app suite. So I can help these members who are construction professionals make better resumes, make better cover letters, and then use that to then get hired for their jobs, and then using AI and computer vision and voice analysis to then prep them for interviews. So give them a space where recruiters are using these same AI tools to gauge and measure us now. So how do we combat that? How do we provide make this a fair game for everyone? Well, we're using these same tools to make sure that they're prepared on our side. So, with the resumes that we've created, we were able to match certain keywords that, that recruiters and employers were looking for in resumes. So that got them through that first hurdle, right? So, there's a stat there where, 70% of applicants, I believe, it's either 70 or it's flipped, 70-30, get lost or will not even get visibility because they did not hit those keywords in their resume. So they get skipped entirely, and through an AI process. Recruiters are using AI to make it so that if you don't have these keywords, then you're not going to, we're going to skip on your resume, and they're missing out on opportunity. So with these resumes that we took, we take the job description and then match it to the resume, and then make sure that these keywords are included so they get through that first hurdle and get to the next step of the process, which is getting an interview. So this tool, actually, I don't mind, I would love to share it with you guys. 1 second. This tool actually right now is helping people get jobs. Right now is helping people get hired. So, and go through and train them on how to do better interviews. So if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and share. Where did I put it? All right. This is a tool I built with Replit. Replit is one of my preferred vibe coding tool, my preferred coding agent, just because it gets you there. It's all in one place, gets you there faster. So this here is called the CAPTCHA job readiness tool. This is actually being used right now by Mission Hiring Hall. So I was able to build something with vibe coding and apply this to something that's readily needed in this industry, and that's job readiness. So if I can show you the tools, it all started really with this chatbot. This chatbot was just a ChatGPT bot. It's one of the GPTs, and it helped you do interviews through text. So you'd upload your resume, upload the job description, you could upload your cover letter, and then you can even upload the hiring manager on LinkedIn and get the profile from their LinkedIn, and it would match their their experience to the whole training process. So whoever you're interviewing with would be the hiring manager.
RJ, just a highlight here. For you to code this app, this interface and all, you required a lot of technical expertise before, or it was more about how you prompted Replit for it to give you this app at the
For
end?
this tool specifically, I'm glad you asked that question. Before I even learned how to get my coding skills down and get my process for vibe coding, is I learned how to prompt the LLM to get the best output. I like to teach in another class that a lot of this is human skills that we're learning working with AI. We're learning better communication first and foremost. We're learning how to talk to this tool which understands natural language to get the output that you want. That works for any job, for any skill set, for any industry, to be able to communicate what it is that you want. So it helps us be better managers. Yes, Don, like prompt engineering is that's paramount, right? I'd even go a step further and say that prompt structure is will get you to prompt engineering. So as long as we understand that the key categories that are there in prompt structure, you can come up with the best prompt, engineer the best prompt to get the output that you want. So thank you for sharing, Don. So to be able to get something like this required the perfect prompt engineering structure, right? So I had to have it say upload your resume, or I had to give it a certain function for it to understand to upload the resume, take the job description, take the cover letter, and then create a process where it's asking you a set of questions to then use a rubric that we created to then give you a score after the interview, so you understand how well you answered those questions. And that was a process through prompt structure and prompt engineering. So I can actually go over some of the prompts before I go on to the other cool tools. So, and yeah, I don't mind sharing this as well. 1 second. It is in my notes, and I locked it for some reason. But let me share my notes with you guys right now. As long as you understand these key concepts, then second. As long as you understand these key concepts, you will. The takeaway here is that you can create the perfect engineered prompt for your use case. So let me just share my entire screen. That might be best. Okay, great. Can you guys see the custom instructions here?
It's loading up. Okay, got it.
Great, great. So there are really 7 things when it comes, 7 categories when it comes to engineering the perfect prompt, right? First, I have it here, numbered 1 through 7. So the most important, obviously, is going to be the task that you assign it. But there are things that we can add to the task in order for the LLM to better understand how to execute the task. The next great example is context. You're providing context to the task. Like, why is this the task that you're doing? What is the information that I need in order to do this task? What are the constraints or requirements that need to be followed in order for the task to be completed in the way that you want, right? Good example, quick example is I need a birthday card. Write me a birthday card, right? That's a task. Well, if you gave it the context of, hey, it's my sister's birthday, she's 14, she's into, I don't know, little ponies and dolls. Can you create for me? She likes her. We have a certain sense. She has a certain sense of humor. She likes puns. I don't know, right? So this is the context that you would give to the task of create me a birthday card. So now you have an even better understanding of what the context is in order to come up with a better task output, right? Another method that we can then add to that same example is adding a persona. Maybe we can tell the LLM, like, hey, you're the best storyteller, you're the best card writer, and assume that persona for this birthday card. I want it to be clear and concise, and specifically talk about like my sister's interests, right? So adding a persona is key to just making the output better, because then it understands it and it wears that hat. One of my favorite things to do when it comes to vibe coding is having it understand, take on the role of a CTO and come up with the user stories in order for me to get the right sprints for my Scrum, right? When I say all that, that is a way that I structure my vibe coding experience, because I try to emulate a dev's experience when it comes to the work that they have to do, and it takes a certain framework, and I like to use Scrum, right? So I have it put on the hat of a CTO or a Scrum master, and then create the perfect user stories in order for me to then create the tasks and the sprint that are needed to organize what needs to happen next for the project. Now we can take it a step further with examples. Exemplars is a good way to put it. So examples is providing it, say, using the same birthday example, right? Giving it 3 different birthday cards that you liked. What did you like about it? And then adding that to the context, adding it to the task, adding it with it being a great card writer, right? Now you're giving it even more examples for it to follow a certain format, which brings us to number 5, right? Well, you can actually set the format. You can tell it the birthday card, hey, can you list out bullet points? Hey, can you actually be more concise and only put 3 sentences? Hey, can you put a haiku in or a poem in this format where it rhymes, right? Like, and then you can actually set the type of format that you want for that birthday card. Or like maybe you want a title for it, right? Then you tell it to have a title. That's part of format. Now, the next thing that we can then add is what I said earlier, is like, hey, with the context, humor is actually tone, right? When I said like, hey, I want this card to be funny, I want the birthday card to be funny. Okay, let's add tone, right? That is, you can choose to be professional, friendly, concise, technical, creative. You can choose any kind of tone that you want. You can choose humor. You can choose it to be lighthearted, friendly. This helps it understand not only the context of what you're asking for, but how you want it asked, how you want it set, right? You want a funny card. Well, if you just told it everything else but the tone of having this be funny, they can put out everything else with your format. Or if you provided examples of funny cards, maybe it would understand, but you can specifically tell it, hey, I want this humor and I want this kind of humor. And that's tone, right? So these are the 6 main components. And then now with the way that LLMs are and it being able to self-reflect, that's something that I've added to these original 6 and put reflection, self-correction. So being able to check its output or check and review before it gives you a final output. So it'll think about its response before it gives you a response. So asking for it to look for potential flaws. And when it comes to vibe coding, hey, review your code, read through it first, and let me see if you find errors if I were to run this, right? So that's a quick example. Another way is when I'm coming up with a business plan and I want it to play devil's advocate, right? And poke holes into my plan. So it'll give me a plan, and before I ask it to give it to me, be devil's advocate and find holes into the plan that you're about to give me, so you have a better understanding of the pros and cons, right? So that's a way that we can self-reflect on our prompt and then get the best output. So any one of having these 7, this structure is very, very helpful when it comes to, and why I harp on prompt structure over prompt engineering, because anyone can engineer can engineer the best prompt for their use case. However, what does it take to be a prompt engineer? It's going to take these categories and a high understanding of these categories in order to get and communicate the output that you want, right? So great. So that's the 7 there. I'll go ahead and share that here in the chat if anybody wants to copy this or take from it. Oh, I guess it doesn't.
Cut. Maybe you can share the link. Share the link of that document, or you.
Yeah, I can share a document. Actually, I don't have. I keep it in my notes. I keep it private. I only keep it for my students.
Okay, so you can cut cut it in step by step and send here.
Yeah, let me do that
This
really.
is gold. And you're going to mention how Auraflow can use this kind of prompting flow to help you to code something as a prototype and then finalize that with the expert. That's the flow here, right?
Yes, this is my preferred flow in order to for me to understand. So like when it comes to vibe coding, and prompt structure, when I come up with a plan for whatever project that I'm creating, I don't just go ahead and create the app. I think one of the biggest examples of just I like to call it you're micromanaging the AI at this point, is when you're not giving it a proper structure in order to follow a plan on how to build your app. And this is when you just type into the coding agent, say, hey, build me a weather app, for example. Okay, well, what's next, right? Well, I think there needs to be a high level understanding first, and understanding what features you want to see in that weather app, and writing that out and putting it a structure for what it needs to complete first and foremost, and then second, and then third. Once you provide something like that and give it structure, I use these 7 things in order for me to come up with the correct structure. Now, I really like how Matheus gives his example of writing a book, right? And feeding that documentation into the LLM. So anybody can write a book. You can tell ChatGPT to go ahead and write you a book, but if you're not telling it what kind of book and what tone and in the style of what author, right, then it's going to create anything it wants at that point, right? So Matheus has a really good example of how to build the perfect prompt to get a documentation ready to then feed this book format and style guide for the book into a markdown file or into a text file into the LLM. And so it uses that to review, while then Matheus says, hey, write me a book now, right? Great example. I love that example. You know, I'll bring that up every time, Matheus.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. Same thing that happens to book applies to coding too, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Same thing happens, right?
A quick note, Karina, you asked about sharing all of that now. You can have the link for all of the recordings, this material is all going to be sent for you. If you don't have that yet, tell me, I can add you to the folder. If you're a supporter, you would have all the recordings. If not, I can like open except you can apply as builder. There are many things that we can try, and you can become part of this community. You're ongoing. You're going to receive access to Auraflow today, right, RJ?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually going to. Everyone here, I would love for you guys to be able to join the wait list. Everyone here is going to be getting access to the beta as soon as it launches. I'm going to be looking to launch pretty soon, and a little bit about Auraflow and what it's about. You know, it's time to share that now. So let me go ahead and share. I might actually give you guys a preview for everyone that's here of what it's going to begin looking like. You know, this is that link there. It'll take you. Oh, thank you, Francisco. It'll take you to the wait list here. But you know, the whole point is like this is where ideas meet expertise, right? And I would love to hear you guys' feedback. And you know, in the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to go over this quickly. And then I would love to be able to hear some of the projects that you guys are working on, and then some of the challenges that you find, and how you're being able to get past those hurdles. And if you need help, you know, this is what I want to see. I want to get the feedback to see if this is a platform that you might be able to need while you're still learning how to build. You know, because I think we all need help. I don't think, you know, anybody is able to build something. I mean, anybody can build by themselves, but you know, it takes a lot to ask for help. But when you get help, you know, you get the best results, right? So Auraflow, this is what it looks like. I want to be able to share with you guys a little preview that, you know, I haven't shared with anyone yet. So 1 second, I have another. I think it's this tab. Oh, whoops. Sorry. It's this window. I'm just going to share my screen.
Share the whole thing. Just be careful not to do like near.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's safe.
So you're able to see this, Matheus?
Yes, the colorful Auraflow dashboard.
Awesome. So this is what it's going to internally look like. As a vibe coder, you can set the bounty, put the title. This is all going to be AI later, so it helps people write in the waiting list. Awesome. So detailed description, what's your acceptance criteria, add the technology that you're using. This is going to be a drop down at some point, and then set the bounty amount of like what your specific problem is, and then setting how much you'd pay for someone to then fix it. Cool thing about this is that what's already built in is an NDA. So, everybody's going to have great ideas. You don't want anybody just taking your idea. And so this is already built in, or you can actually, build your own NDA if you have your own non-disclosure agreement. So people can respect your idea and your project, and everybody can move towards building. So this platform then creates a bounty. It goes into the marketplace. So once a bounty is created, as a dev, this dashboard right now is a dashboard for both Vibecoder and developer. So on the marketplace side, as soon as a Vibecoder goes ahead and puts in a code, or puts in a bounty, then it'll show up in this bounty marketplace, right? This will show the different transactions that that you've taken on, the different bounties. I've done a few tests here, and then this is what the dashboard would look like for a developer. The developer would then be able to look at all these different bounties. Wish I could show you that right now, but that's in the works. But they'll be able to send a proposal to the Vibecoder, and then the Vibecoder is actually setting a price, but they're also going to be able to set a price range, and the developer can also counter and then give a price that, after understanding what they're asking for, this is what it's actually going to cost. So this is what I'm trying to figure out right now is what makes sense for developers, what makes sense for Vibecoders. So I would love your guys' input here. And then, you'll be able to set up payment accounts, log in with your GitHub, and yeah, you can set your profile. This profile is actually going to be a lot more expanded to be able to show your skill sets, the tools that you use, maybe even a profile picture if you want of you or your agency. So it's going to be more robust there. So any feedback I can get from you guys, the better. So this is the payment portal, and this is just security settings if you want to enable two-factor authentication. Don't press this button. This deletes your account, but you also have that option as well. So you guys just got the preview of Auraflow. This is my first time being able to show that to anyone. So thank you guys for being here and being a part of the the pre-release, really. So I have this not just a waitlist form. This is a form here for feedback. So if you guys would be able to sign up here, this would be amazing to get feedback from you guys. It helps me build the platform to what you guys want to see out of it, and if this even is helpful for you guys. I find it really just on my personal level. It's taken me a couple years, but I'm everyone still goes through their struggles. There are different, AI will hallucinate at some point. Unless you're a very skilled developer, sometimes it'll go in a direction where you don't understand what the code is saying here. I need help, even maybe Matheus needs help, like other developers help out other developers, right? And the same, like expert vibe coders can help out other vibe coders. This is what this platform is for. I find a lot of shit talking on LinkedIn and other platforms and X, and I find it incredible that we're wasting time talking about each other's skill sets and saying one is better than the other, when really, why don't we just make money together, right? Devs would be able to get paid in helping people get their project move forward. And then people who are paying, the vibe coders who are paying for this, will get their idea to execution. I think it's a win-win-win for everyone involved, So would love to hear your thoughts. Share the form here. Don asks, how many users do you currently have? I have about 25. I'm looking to get 100 users before I launch the beta. So would love to see you guys on the wait list, and thank you guys for joining. There needs to be a need for more women to participate. Yes, I definitely agree, and something that I want to see happen. Let's see. Oh, Prachi's not here. anymore, but Prachi is definitely like a developer, and she's a woman, and she is big in the community there. We're working together on providing a hackathon for international women, and that's something that I would then next show them Auraflow to be able to get more women on the platform. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And
That is a funny aspect of vibe coding too, RJ, that I was hearing from a friend how
Mhm.
his wife was trying to vibe code something and she got it on first shot. And he
Awesome.
was trying to vibe code it for a while because the way that usually, as a stereotype, men communicate is very affectionate, like this and one this and that. Women, they tell the whole story. Oh, I arrived at home and I thought on this and
Yeah.
that. As a stereotype, of course, not want to fall in any boxes or labels here, but usually women, they have this ability, that is a capacity that most men don't have, of explaining things fully.
Yeah.
And this is a precious ability for vibe coding, you know. I can
Mhm.
totally see a scenario that the job market of tech flips, as it was in the 70s and 80s, that coding was mostly done by women. Now with AI, it is probable that code is mostly going to be written by women again because of the natural capabilities of explaining things properly, with feelings and with care, that women would usually do.
Yeah, they provide full context, and that's something that the LLM needs in order to do the job correctly and to get the output that they want. Um, yeah, women are really good at that. So, keep talking to the LLM. But this is why, I shared the prompt structure. So everyone can understand this is what the LLM is looking for in terms of being able to get the proper output, right? So with that, I'm glad I got to share Auraflow. Oh, I wish I didn't get to show you the rest of the tool suite. I wanted to show you something cool there. Before I go ahead and open the floor to any questions, I want to hear about your challenges. I want to hear about the things that you're building. But this is a really quick. I'll go through some of the tools that I've built. So this is a resume tool that I built, and this is a job fit. Start optimizing. You can upload your resume. Take any job posting like on LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and then once you hit optimize your resume, it'll change your entire resume to match the keywords and job in the job description here. Another tool is this AI interview training. Start a practice session. You can pick the role that you're applying for, the interview style, the difficulty, the amount of questions. If I hit start interview, this one's fun. This right here would then look at my it'll gauge my confidence score, my engagement. If you see there, the real-time analysis working. Right now, I'm showing a neutral face. I can also be really angry and it'll let me know, or I can be really, smiling more and it'll tell me that I'm being more positive. So
Maybe the light's not helping you there, right?
no, the light's not helping right now, but it does, it'll do its thing. But right
Think on
now,
pineapple pizza is going to go for happy. Just kidding.
but I wanted to be able to show you guys this because this is some of the cool stuff that you can build. I'm using computer vision here. Can you imagine being able to use computer vision like even 2 years ago if you've never been able to code, right? So I'm able to use like RoboFlow and connect it to this process because I have it understand an API and the documentation behind it in order to then use this for my tool specifically. So yeah, that's
What did that was pretty amazing. How did you make that?
how did I make it? I made it
Yeah.
on Replit. So the way that I vibe code is I give it a structure. So I actually don't even start in Replit right away to tell it what I want to build. I will go into either chat. I use Gemini. I love Gemini, and I'll tell you why I like Gemini for projects. Is Gemini has a context window of 1 million tokens. It used to have 2 million, but right now it's 1 million. ChatGPT, Claude, their max tokens per conversation is 132,000. So Gemini right away has the context, has 7.5 times the context of ChatGPT or a Claude. So you can put in, that's like 10 more books that you can put of conversation that you can put into Gemini. So I like using Gemini. But before I even write anything into Replit, I give it a high level overview of what I want. And then I'm giving it a structure such as Scrum to give me the sprints. I'm giving it the features that I want. So in this example, I asked for, hey, I want to create an interview bot that uses computer vision for facial recognition. It uses Gemini for tone analysis. These are the features that I want to see. I want it to also have chat transcription. So when I talk, that it has the ability to then take that information and turn it into text, and then take that text and then use that to give a final score. And I also want to create a rubric for it to grade off of. Those are the features that I'm thinking of and compiling in a high-level overview document before I even type anything into Replit. And then from there, I create this document. I feed it into the Replit coding agent, and then I take it. I tell it, hey, follow the instructions here. I want to build an interview training bot, right? And then it's pretty much, it's very similar to Matheus' example of creating a book. So that's what I do first to give it proper context and proper structure. So thank you for that question. So now, that I've talked a lot, I was able to show you my process, go over it a little bit, show you how I get to prompt engineering. I actually use prompt structure first, so everybody can understand this at a high level to see, like, this is what the LLM is looking for. And then from there, you guys can create your own and engineer your own prompts based off the 7 categories that I shared. Now, yeah, I open the floor to you guys. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any thoughts on Auraflow, do you find this helpful? Do you feel like this is a tool that people can use? Or yeah, if you guys would love to share your projects and anything that you guys are doing with vibe coding, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So yeah, if anybody wants to go, yeah.
If anyone here is struggling with vibe coding, Sergo, the things that you mentioned before, Brian, Miro, Don, Mont, I see a lot of people, Michael. So if you want to use this time to share a bit of your struggles with RJ and maybe collect some directions or tips or tricks on what to do and what to try.
Sure. May I start? May I share, Matheus?
For sure. Yeah, Sergo, go ahead, and then Miro will go after. Yeah.
RJ is the man.
Cool. Listen, Matheus, you remember my final project which I submitted for the bootcamp, for your bootcamp. So initially I wanted to do it with integrate the MetaMask wallet. It was an absolute nightmare. Okay. So I used the Coinbase's agent kit as a basis to develop the solution. Okay. But as soon as I tried to integrate MetaMask wallet, it was a nightmare. Okay. I would integrate, but then something else would not work, and I was going back and forth for 10 days. And guess what? I dropped the MetaMask wallet completely, integrated simply a Coinbase's wallet. It worked like a Swiss watch, So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was a little bit done on purpose. Coinbase realizes that, I'm trying to integrate a wallet from the major competitor, and I don't have any other explanation. Please tell me, RJ, if you think there is something else going on, or how should I deal with issues like that? Thank you.
Yeah, no. So you're telling me that the second thing that you did, but can you go over what was the second thing that you did?
So basically, initially I tried to integrate the MetaMask wallet, the crypto wallet, famous crypto wallet, but it didn't work. So then I went with the wallet of the company whose agent kit I used to develop the whole marketplace, and it worked like a miracle.
I see. The reason it probably worked that way is that within that agent kit is the documentation behind the wallet that they're using. So it already understands that this is how to implement this wallet for
Believe me, I copied all the information from MetaMask, the wallet information integration. I created the requirements text file. Believe me, for 10 days I've been struggling. So I gave up and then did it in just a couple of hours with Coinbase.
Wow, I'm wondering too. Like it could be the amount of context. Maybe it's hallucinating because of the context that was put into it. I'm not sure what LLM that you used. You know, if it's Claude, you know, there's only a certain amount of you use V0. Okay, so yeah, there's only a certain amount of context that you can get for the documentation.
So believe me, in parallel windows, tabs, I was using Claude and Gemini as well. I've tried everything over those 10 days.
I see. Yeah, see, at that point, I'm not sure as to why that could be the reason. Francisco seems to he shared something.
Yeah,
he's usable because you used to integrate in a front end, and it took 2 minutes.
the prompt there on agent kit is kind of biased. The system prompt, the hard-coded string, is kind of biased. And I had this problem when using Polygon a while. When you were, I guess you were there in the demonstration, RJ, when we were
trying to make with you and Colin.
Exactly, Polygon, but it was switching for testing. So sometimes it's just about tweaking the prompt, but it is tricky to know where to tweak, you know, and then sometimes you would prefer alternative paths.
Yeah, thank you, Sergo. Yeah, sometimes it's just the hard-coded the prompt within the prompt.
Thank you.
I was able to understand the agent kit, but yeah, thank you, Sergo. Miro, I know you've had your hand up.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I joined late here.
Oh, no worries.
But I have this question that I asked it to Matheus before in the previous session. Did you or anyone here had an experience of getting a whole smart contract deployment with any vibe coding tools? If yes, which tool, which steps you did, what was the prompt like? That's one question. And the second question would be, like for a project like yours, looked pretty refined, pretty end product. Like, how do you go from simple couple of prompts with connecting front end, back end, everything? The project is not just the landing page, right? It has more than that. So where do I get from a proof of concept to a fully functional product? So 2 questions. I'm sorry to make it harder.
Yeah, no worries. I'll answer backwards. So I'll answer your second question first. So going back to the structure. So I would tell it what features that I would want. For example, when it comes to the high level, I'll tell it that I want TypeScript. I want it to be React. I want it to be to use Tailwind CSS for the styling. And so that's what I'm already telling it for the front end. On the back end, I'm using something like Node.js or Next.js or to be able to do the back end work.
What about the data?
For the data, then I would tell it I want it to be this database. I can connect it either to Supabase, Firebase, or Postgres, SQL. So it just depends. Most of the time, like right now, I'm just using SQL. But there are times where I would use Supabase, just because it's more open, than Firebase. And yeah, so then I would add those components into the high level first, and then that's what I would then feed into the LLM, and then it would give me a sprint. So I follow Scrum. So I would break down the project into user stories, into how I envision the user using the product, right? Or all the different stakeholders using the product. Right, from the user stories, it would then create sprints for what I should tackle first. And sometimes UI is first, sometimes UI is last. But then it'll tell me when to implement my database. And most of the time that's sprint 1 or sprint 2. So that way I'm following this organized structure. that I give it, so it has all the components that I was telling it at the high level. Does that help, Miro?
Yes, absolutely. Do you have anywhere the like some sort of a guide or documentation or even a video about like how to do that end to end?
That'll be coming soon. Right now, it's just been in these videos that I've been hosting with Matheus and the boot camps. But I will be providing something like that where to show you the structure, Miro. So thank you for asking.
Because I think a lot of people, I mean, including me, I mean, we're thinking about, okay, I wanted to get it from from an idea to actually functional.
Yeah.
But then you hear all this stuff, as you said in LinkedIn or wherever. It's like, oh, it's only for proof of concept. It's not for functional. You have to be careful. For sure, you have to be careful. You have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why people are like yourself are, I'd say pioneers in this space. They would, give us their experiences, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Miro. And to answer your first question, I don't use it much for smart contracts, but the way that I would probably go about it is to find, because of their smart contracts, I would find examples of smart contracts online. And I believe, what's the name? I can't remember the name of the website that shows all the different smart contracts. I would find ones that would then match the project that I'm building and then use that as an example. It goes back to exemplars on the prompt structure to then use it for the tool. So Open Zeppelin.
Yeah, Open Zeppelin, that's right. Yes.
So yeah, that's how I would structure smart contracts. So thank you for questions, Miro, and yeah, look forward to those providing those and resources.
Thank you. I believe this session is recorded. Where we can find it, Matheus? Because I joined late.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you gotta put down $5,000 and then I give you the creative package. Just kidding.
Only,
you can
5,000 only. You should raise the price a little bit. This
5 million.
This is you can't put a value for this information, honestly.
Yeah, let's charge you 5 million Brazilian reals, which is nothing. Just kidding.
Sure, man.
So
Thank you very much.
here's the page. You should have applied for some of these already, right? The Beatler badge or something like that, right? If you haven't, come here. I'm going to approve you, and then you will have the link. I'm doing that manually. I didn't have time to code an automation for that, but I will give you the link for all of the recordings. It's a drive folder where you have the transcripts, the recordings, the chat history, and all of the documentation in the same place. Here's the calendar of events too, the past events, future events, and the artisan. Don't know, Miro, if you submitted your project already, but this is the artisan page where everything converges to for you to submit your project. I want to get you funded. I want to grow this fund too with more money, more donations, more support, and cooking some great things. A few workshops, vibathons. Who knows, RJ? After you raise your round of $10 million, you sponsor a vibathon with everyone here, vibing with Auraflow.
The only way I'm raising that is if you're my CBO. So
a barbecue for fundraising, I guess that can work in
that's
California.
the networking event right there of 2025. So
Miro, so you can pick any of those memberships, and I'll share the recordings with you. If I forget, if the link doesn't arrive, you ping me on Telegram. Okay.
Right on. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Do you feel like, and I just want to ask a question, does anyone feel like Auraflow is something that can be helpful for their workflow? Say that they do get stuck. I know, Sergo, you said you took like 10 days. Was there a time there that you're like, oh, I need to give up. I need to be able to pass this off to someone if I couldn't figure it out?
I haven't even thought about it. I'll tell you why. Because there were actually 6 people in the group, and guess what? I mean, 5 of them did nothing. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 assignments, just one guy helped, so I wasn't counting on anyone. I was counting only on myself, so I did it alone. I had to figure out the solution. The solution was Coinbase's wallet instead of MetaMask. So, but if there was a solution, I would have looked at anything, you know.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the feedback. Cool. Yeah, does anyone have any other questions that they'd like to ask? Anyone want to share some of the projects that they're building? Or share challenges that they're running into?
So sorry, as far as I understood, so Replit is your to-go platform.
Yeah, I like using Replit. I like using Cursor. So I use them for different things. Right now, I'm building out a project in Swift. So using, and the reason I'm using Swift, I'm using Xcode actually. So I'm going, the old route of writing something out on ChatGPT, because Swift or Xcode doesn't really have a coding agent. If it does, I'm not looking for it. But I'm able to keep all the context in Gemini, because it has such a big context window of 1 million tokens, that I'm able to build the project on Gemini and then transfer that code into Xcode, which is used for building iOS, Apple apps. So the reason I have to use iOS and Xcode is because I'm building a LiDAR project. So I'm using LiDAR to detect for different things. Right now I'm using it to detect for measurement, right? So rather than have it build augmented reality or 3D objects. So you can actually use it for like Gaussian splats and being able to get the depth of your entire room. But right now I'm choosing it just to measure certain things. So in order for me to use the LiDAR on an iPhone camera, for example, you have to specifically use Xcode in order to build. You can't use Expo. I wish you could, but Xcode is the way to go. So now, but I did find out that with computer vision, you don't have to use Xcode. You can actually use Expo with RoboFlow's documentation. So that's just a tip there if anybody's building.
Well, there, yeah. Well, for everyone that would like to contact RJ later, I'm going to put this link here in the chat, the Telegram group, Venture Miner Academy, V Miner Academy. RJ is there posting daily about pineapple pizza recipes and this kind of stuff. Yeah. I totally encourage all of you to fill up the form for Auraflow. Test it there. It's going to be great for connecting vibe coders with more experienced devs. Try to get some specialized guidance on releasing your application for production. Still, you can test your product, beta test now before you spend real money by paying other people, right? So it's a very brilliant ecosystem.
Thank you.
The Auraflow can really solve this. There is a war out there, right? You can't vibe code. You can't vibe code. Vibe coders are not engineers. Vibe coders are engineers. So there is this war on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Auraflow is like in the middle, pacifying all of that. The logo could be the dove of peace or something like that. The Auraflow is solving this battle. I totally suggested you guys test it out. Engage with RJ there in that in that Telegram group.
I'll be active.
Let's get that running. A few months from now, maybe a few weeks, RJ is going to raise a few $1 million, and you guys are going to say that you were there in the first demo. You're going to be famous. He's going to invite all of us for his private barbecue party. It's going to be very fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan, right?
Yep. As long as you're barbecuing, Matheus.
Count on me.
So that's my Telegram. You'll find me there in the Telegram V Miner Academy. And then I've also shared my LinkedIn if you guys want to follow or connect with me there. Yeah, it's been amazing being able to chat with you guys. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Matheus. And thank you all for staying on.
Thank you for coming, RJ. Thank you all for participating. It was a great Vibe Thursday. Thank you for all of you.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Good. Bye-bye. Stop the transcript and start the recording here.